Okay, let's start discussing the paper, friends. And let me tell you what I was expecting from you. Accordingly, you try to check whether you have, completed all those expectations so far as the answers were concerned. Every question I said was of 2 marks. Question number 15, unfortunately, was not completely visible that time yesterday. So you may get that opportunity today also. I will show you the question. I'll tell you the procedure also, but then you will work it out on your own. Okay, that's more important. So here, let's start discussing the paper, friends. Okay, one by one, we will discuss every question. The first question was define scalars and vectors with example, and it was for 2 marks. Okay, so here, what I was expecting from you, friends, so I'll just show you some of this slide basically. Give me a moment. Yeah, simple. So far as scalars, you should talk about the definition that these are the physical quantities which convey only magnitude or which require only magnitude. Whereas vectors, they convey magnitude as well as direction. Now, examples for scalar could have been mass, time, whereas vectors, it could have been force, velocity, and many more, I mean, whichever way. So this is what I was expecting. Now, if you have mentioned that in this particular manner, then you can expect 2 on 2 in this case. Okay, so let's not get diverted about it. So I believe things are pretty clear regarding the first question. Please put it in the feedback section so that we discuss the second one. Okay, clear, no problem. Fine. Most of you understood what I was expecting. And the second question, if you observe, friends, in second question, you can see they are simply asking you to define four parameters. Okay, one was parallel vectors, other is anti-parallel vectors, collinear vectors, and negative vectors. Let's see what I was expecting in this particular case, so far as the different types of vectors and their definitions are concerned. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So, okay, just show you. Yeah, when do we say, let's talk about equal vectors first of all. When they have same magnitude and same direction. Okay, they are parallel, everything. They have same magnitude, they have same direction, then we can consider them as equal vectors. Always, whenever you explain, you draw diagrams, you put some specifications, and then mention it this way. Then only you can score full marks. Okay, you try to put it in short formats unnecessarily, there are high chances that the examiner may end up cutting your few marks unnecessarily. It has nothing to do with your understanding then. It is all about your representation. So in our country, representing things is also important. Just by knowing them is not sufficient. Okay, the other person should know that you know it in such a better manner. Then he ends up giving you marks. This was regarding equal vectors. Then when we talk about negative vectors, friends, you can see in this case, yeah, in case of negative vectors, the two vectors are directed in opposite direction and they have equal magnitude. So therefore, you can see they are negative vectors. Diagrams at times make things, highly representative. Without diagrams, you just try to write certain things. Then in science, it is valued less basically. Then we did talk about the next case is about, you can see, co-initial or collinear vectors. If it was co-initial, obviously it should start from a single point like this. Now we did talk about collinear, so you can see the direction is same. Coplanar, the plane is same. Null vector, you can see the magnitude is zero. So, such kind of descriptions were expected in this case. So hopefully you have understood what I was expecting with what type of answers. Here you can see There are few words, there are diagrams, but the things are explained in complete sense, you can see. So hopefully you have understood that. If you have understood that, please put it in the feedback section so that I come to know that you have understood. And next time onwards, while writing theory paper, you will be mentioning all this. So this is a skill which one has to develop, right? See, 10 standard till 10 standard, the way you have written answers may be a different case. But here onwards, 11 standard onwards, you are supposed to put it in a different format where the other person understands it to perfection. All right, so this was about the second question, and I move to, you can see the first question again as a third question in a way. The slide. Yeah, friends. So the third question was explain addition of vectors, and then it was what is the triangle law. So triangle law is a specialized law. When you talk about question 3, addition of vectors, you can generally talk about them. So how we add vectors. So obviously we cannot add them algebraically. The directions are to be considered in that case. This is something to be, stressed on, friends. So let's see what I was expecting. Okay, I'll come to that slide straight away yeah, when I'm talking about vector addition, I require examples like this. So you can see vector A represented by a bigger arrow, vector B by comparatively smaller. Both are in same direction. I can simply add them. You can see there is a big arrow. This can be the first example of vector addition in general sense, without talking about the law. All right. So 4 plus 3 can become 7 in this case. So this can be an example. All right. Second vector addition, you can see. Then you can talk about, if the directions are not same, then you can see, you can just put it in this manner or this manner. You can see, hypotenuse would be the vector addition in this case. We have not discussed triangle law as of now. We are just discussing it general. Pythagoras theorem can help us in vector addition. So, these things are trigonometric functions at times, 3, 4, 5, triad can help us in vector addition. These are the things which I was expecting from you people when I was talking about that uh, addition. You can also talk about vector subtraction also in this case. So if I want to subtract, then I will just negate vector b in this direction, and then the resultant will give me the vector subtraction. You can see this gives me vector addition, this gives me vector subtraction. So these are the things which I was expecting from you, friends. Hopefully you have understood this. So make a note of this slide specifically if you don't have this type of thing. But we have discussed all this if you all remember. You could have explained this in a better way and you end up scoring 2 on 2, friends. Isn't it? Scoring is not a big deal if you represent it properly. Again, I am saying only understanding is not enough. You have to represent it. All right. Yeah, this is what I was expecting from you when I talk about vector addition. Okay. Then when we talk about triangle law, forget about this. Okay, I'll just show you when I was talking about triangle law. Obviously, when we go for vector addition, we have different laws like triangle, parallelogram law, or law of polygon if the vectors are more than two. So how we add vectors by triangle law? This is something which I was supposed to show you. First vector represented by the first side of the triangle. Second vector, when the first vector ends, the other starts, the direction is taken care of. And the third side gives us the resultant vector, you can see. How you add them? You take it in the opposite order. 1, 2, 3. This is a polygon. Okay. This is the resultant vector. You go for this is nothing but the modification of triangle law itself. In general, you can see I have kept the direction of A as it is represented in magnitude and direction by one side of the triangle. I just place this triangle, this vector like, without changing the direction over here. And the third side gives me the resultant vector or vector addition, you can see. So You could have explained triangle law in this manner with the help of you know diagrams, and you expect 2 on 2 if you do it like this way. Hopefully, you have understood this. Please put it in the chat section so that we start discussing the next type of problem. Yeah, hopefully things are getting clearer now. You know what the expectations are. Chalo, okay. Fine, fine. Chalo. Okay, so let's talk about just a minute. If I can show you something. Then there was about whether they follow commutative rule or not. You could have shown it this way: sum of b plus a and sum of a plus b is same, and that's how you can end up proving how they follow the commutative rule, because and the distributive rule also in the similar way. So these are some slides which give you how you can prove. You can take some examples also. Please make a note of this slide. It's clearly telling you how you work out a plus b and b plus a, and why we should remember what we should remember about the commutative rule. Okay, hopefully you have noted this down. Okay, all this will help you in your exams, coming exams whenever they start. Yeah, friends. Okay, let's proceed then. Yeah, here you can give an example how you go for vector addition. It's a two-dimensional addition, right? I to I and j to j, you can put it. Vector addition done. Okay. Let's talk about the other type of questions then. Again, I'll come back to the question paper. Yeah. So I just told you how you know, explain commutative law, law of vector addition, triangle law, right? Associative property can be explained in the diagrammatic manner itself. I told you about the polygon law also right now. Then let's talk about what my expectation was regarding proving parallelogram law, how we work out. Most of you have done well over here, but here few of you have missed how to explain things. Okay? And in definitions also there are minor mistakes which few people have created basically. I don't know. Hopefully they don't do it next time. Okay, I've just gone through 2 or 3 answer papers also. Okay, and I came to know where people went wrong. Therefore, I decided today itself to discuss this paper in greater details. Okay. Now, what I was expecting regarding parallelogram law, okay, and unit vector and its significance, okay, these 2 things, and the resolution of vectors. Okay, so we would be discussing question number 9, 10, 11, and 12 rectangular components together now. Okay, so let's start with the parallelogram law. What I was expecting from you. Okay? A simple derivation which you could have practiced. Okay, yeah. You can actually explain what the parallelogram law is. Two sides, two representing two vectors. The diagonal starting from the same point of the two common point of the two vectors is representing the resultant. This is the parallelogram. You could have explained it. You could have said vector addition is commutative. You can prove it this way. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. And here is a slide where you take two vectors and you work out the entire geometry and you find out the resultant. Either it is in terms of P and Q or A and B, one and the same. But then the magnitude is given as root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. You can put it in P and Q terms also. And alpha, tan alpha, this is the direction of the resultant, right? So you get it with the trigonometry. We could have drawn the diagram. Nobody has drawn the perfect diagram also. Directly you start deriving things. So that's where things become difficult. You should not directly uh, start deriving things. You should explain. This is a self-explanatory slide. You do all this, then you end up scoring 2 on 2. Hopefully you have understood. And this derivation is very, very important. No examination can go unfinished without this question. So again, I am saying at least practice this 5 times properly. You would get this question in your exam also. Remember that. Okay, so most of you say done. So you understood what is to be done over here. Okay. Let's proceed further then. We didn't discuss about, there were no questions on vector multiplication. But what I was expecting, apart from parallelogram law, the next type of question was regarding, if you all remember, no vector components. You are breaking the vector into along x and y. The velocity is divided in two components, one along x and one along y. With the help of trigonometry, you place it ay and ax in general. Ay will be a sine theta and ax will be a cos theta as per trigonometry. Okay, so this is what we call as resolution of vectors or vector components. Because they are along x and y, you can also call them as rectangular components. So you could have discussed resolution of vectors in addition to rectangular. Both move in the similar manner. Hopefully you have understood how to work it out. Please let me know in the feedback section what I was expecting. Yeah, this is how you work it out, friends. Okay, let's proceed then. Then the question was regarding unit vector, how you represent it. So I told you unit vector is a vector which is having unit magnitude and it will give the direction along x, y and z. It is denoted by I, j, k, which gives a three-dimensional view of a vector. We could have talked about unit vector in this manner. How you find out the magnitude was being clearly explained to you with these examples, isn't it? You can talk about what unit vector is, vector divided by its magnitude. So this is the significance. What is the significance of unit vector? It gives the direction of a vector. Numerically, you can separate out, you can see. Numerically, you are separating magnitude from vector with the help of unit vector. This is what I was expecting so far as unit vector is concerned. Please let me know if you are done with it and you have understood it. Yeah, so certain things, I expect it in this manner so that, you score good. Now you are in a position where you can self-assess yourself. You only tell me after comparing your answers with these answers where your score stands or what are the improvements needed. So everybody is going to write a paragraph today on WhatsApp individually, and you just send me the feedback, okay, so that I come to know that whether you have understood the concept, so that next time you won't repeat the mistakes to score good marks. So this is what we can do online, we can always have a discussion, we can always keep on improvising. And it cannot be, individual to individual. I can always talk in general terms, but individually also, you can just keep on sharing your feedbacks with me so that, I come to know where you stand. And if I feel like that you are to be corrected somewhere, I can definitely correct you. I can give you guidance, which will help you, scoring good marks. Let's not hesitate doing this, okay? Stay in connection, that's it. Okay, so these were the type of answers which I was expecting, right? Yeah. So then let's talk about few remaining questions which were to be addressed. Okay, let's see. And what was expected out of it. Yeah. So rectangular components तक का तो हो गया. Okay. Uses, where do we use them? So we can solve a number of problems with the help of rectangular components of vectors. I'll show you certain problems we could have solved it this way. You can just give me a moment where I show you how we solve such problems. Just, you could have taken such examples. Okay, where, a ship, how it moves. It can be all solved with the help of rectangular components only. You can see which direction it moves. Uh, what are helping you over here? The rectangular components, isn't it? The vector components. This is how you go about, explaining uses also at times. Yeah. Now specifically, let's talk about the problems. Okay. Just give me a moment where I can show you these questions. Yeah. So here in question number 13, it is clear, okay, the 2 points, the coordinates are given x, y, and z. X, y, and z. Put it in a form of vector. It will be for p, it will be 2I cap plus 4j cap plus 4k cap. Q bar, it will be minus 2I cap minus 3j cap plus 7k cap. Now add them corresponding I to I, j to j with the sign. Once you get it in form of ijk, you know how to find out the magnitude. I have shown you how to find out magnitude, friends. I'll show you once again, no problem. Just have a look at it then. Concentrate. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll show you that side. Let's go back to magnitude. See how we work out magnitude. Yeah, this is how you work out magnitude. You can see, isn't it? Simply root of once you get a vector in form of I, j, k, the magnitude can be worked out. This root of a square plus b square plus c square. So hopefully you have understood it now how to find out a magnitude. Please put it in the feedback section so that I come to know whether you have understood it. Yeah. Okay, Ishan. Fine. Sure. Then the next question we can discuss. Yeah, we can have a look at it. Yeah. Here you are supposed to use parallelogram law. Must have you have done it properly. Root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. Everything is known to you, and it comes out to be root of 75 in this case. I believe. That is the right answer. 15th question was not visible, I believe. So you can just have a note of this 15th question. But I'll tell you how to work out the solution also. So you can solve it today also and come up with the answer. Okay, no problem. But understand the procedure first. P bar is given, Q bar is given. First find out P plus Q. Then the question is find the unit vector which when subtracted from P plus Q. First find out P plus Q. Let that unit vector be minus X or X. So this minus X will give you this. Shuffle everything in terms of X and find out that unit vector. This is how you will work it out. Hopefully you have understood this now, friends. Okay. So please put it in the feedback section and you make a note of this question also. It was not visible yesterday. You can always try it today. That's why most of you I didn't answer it yesterday because I came to know about the printing thing. I said commonly I will address that issue.